Hi Beauties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you haven't been here before, my name is Hannah. Welcome, thank you for joining us. Today we are going to be doing a little bit of a different type of video. So I thought of this idea a few weeks ago and I thought it would be really fun to film. So basically what I thought of was doing like makeup scratch off cards. So like scratch offs that you'd get at like a gas station, but make them yourself into like makeup items. So what I did was I made a list of highly rated and low rated drugstore items. So I went on Ulta's website and looked at the most highly rated item of makeup for a specific part of my makeup routine: foundation, concealer, powder, etc. So the high rated item and the lowest rated item, and I put them in a list and I gave it to my sister and she made scratch offs. So this is what they look like. And so I have one for each step of my makeup routine. I'm going to be scratching them off, seeing what item I get, and then we're going to be picking it up at the drugstore, and then I will come back here and film me using the product. So without further ado, do not forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel if you have not already. Click the post notification bell and like this video if you enjoy it. Let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to go ahead and start scratching off. I have my lovely assistant here in the corner. My sister, who's going to be handing me the scratch offs in order, and then I'll be scratching them off. So first is foundation. So I'm nervous. Okay, so I'm just going to scratch one of them off. This is what they look like. I'll give you guys like a closer look. So basically she just like labeled them and then used paint over it, stuff like that. So I'm just gonna do the top one. No, dang it. Okay, so I went ahead and scratched it off. This is what it looks like. So I got the NYX Stay Matte Not Flat Foundation, which is the low rated item. I'll read them off for you guys. So it's 3.5 stars as compared to the Revlon Candid, which was 4.5 stars, which is the higher rated one. Concealer. Okay, so I got the Milani Perfect. It's Conceal and Perfect Concealer. This is the higher rated one, which is 4.5 stars compared to the Catrice Slimmatic Camo Stick, which is 2 stars. Now we're doing powder, which is LA Girl Pro. It's the Pro Powder, which is 2.5 stars compared to the Wet n Wild Photo Focus, which is 5 stars. Next is bronzer. Oh my gosh, this is gonna be interesting. I got the low rated one again, which is the Wet n Wild Icon Bronzer. It is 3.5 stars compared to the L'Oreal Lumi Bronzer, which is 5 stars. Next is blush. I got the high rated item. I got the Catrice Blush Box, which is 4.5 stars compared to the I Heart Revolution Fruity Blusher, which is 3 stars. Okay, next is brow. So let's see. Okay, so for this one, I got the NYX Micro Brow Pencil, which is the higher rated one, which is 5 stars compared to the CoverGirl Brown Eye Makers, which are 2.5 stars. Next is eyeshadow. Dang it. Okay, so for this one, I got the low rated one. So this one is the e.l.f. Everyday Smoky Palette, which is 3 stars compared to BH Cosmetics Hanging in Hawaii, which is 5 stars. Eyeliner. Okay, so for this one, I got the low rated item again, which is the Wet n Wild Mega Liner. So this one is 2.5 stars compared to Maybelline Hyper Easy Liner, which is 4.5 stars. Mascara. Oh, you really just set me up, huh? So for mascara, I got the CoverGirl Lash Blast, which is 1 star compared to Maybelline Lash Sensational, which is 4.5 stars. So basically this is just going to be a whole look of the worst rated makeup on the drugstore. So highlighter is next. Oh, thank God. For highlighter, I got the ColourPop one, which was the higher rated one, which is 4.5 stars compared to the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter, which is 3.5 stars. And lastly, we have lipstick. Okay, good. For lipstick, I got the Milani Statement lipstick, or Color Statement lipstick, which is 4.5 stars compared to the e.l.f. lip, which is 3.5 stars. I will be back and we'll try a full face of this makeup. Okay, so I went and got everything at the store. I will admit some of the stuff I could not find, and I did not want to wait to order it online because some places aren't shipping and others it would just take a while to get here. So I didn't want to wait to film this part, so I just went ahead and picked up what I could and then got some kind of replacements for the stuff that I couldn't. But I got most of everything. So we're gonna go ahead and jump right in. I did notice that I forgot to put primer down picked up a primer that I haven't used before that I wanted to try because I've heard good things about it. It's the Rose Glow, if it'll focus. It's Revlon Rose Glow. It's like a hydrating and illuminating primer. So I'm just gonna use some of that. I have already moisturized. I'm just gonna dot it into my hand. Okay, so far I like that. I mean, it feels good on the face and it feels like moisturizing. So for foundation, I was not able to find the Stay Matte Not Flat by NYX. So I ended up just picking up a different foundation that I've never heard of from them, it's a Total Control drop foundation. So I got 2 shades because I didn't know what would work. And it was really hard to tell based on like the boxes. By the way, this is all brand new. I haven't used it. I just opened it all up just for the sake of time. So this one looks a little dark. And this one looks a little light. So I'm going to try and mix them and see if that'll work. I also picked up a new beauty blender from the drugstore. It looks so big in the monitor. It's by some brand that I've never heard of. It's called Sonia Kashuk. It's this. I got some brushes from the brand too, because it was like a big display at Target. So, and it looked really nice, so I just picked up a couple things. These are what the brushes look like. So I'll probably be using those and testing them out. I am gonna pin my hair back real quick. Okay, I went ahead and blended that out. I look crazy. So this, I don't know what this has in it, but the first thing I notice when I'm blending this out is this stuff is so oily. Like super, super oily. I think it's probably oil base, but it's like crazy oily. It feels like so greasy on my skin, and I hate that feeling so much. And like on the monitor, it doesn't look like it's picking up bad on camera, but in person, this does not look great on my skin at all. It could also be the fact that I'm not wearing like a pore filling primer, but it just doesn't look good on my skin. It doesn't look like super, super bad. It's not the worst foundation I've ever tried, but it's just not the best. And I had to do like 3 layers just to get it up to this coverage. It is like a drop foundation, so I think it's supposed to be like, I don't know what it claims to be coverage wise. It says sheer to full coverage, which is weird because that's like saying a lot. Like sheer to full coverage. It's not like sheer to light coverage or sheer to medium. That's really weird. But I mean, it was sheer when I first put it on, and I built it up to this, which I would say is almost full coverage. So I mean, I guess that's true, but I feel like I shouldn't have to use that much product, to build it up. So I would not use this again probably. I'm hoping and praying that it does not break me out because I have super sensitive skin. So I'm gonna go ahead and move on to concealer. So for the concealer, it was the Milani one that we picked, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. So the Milani Conceal and Perfect, which I already have, and I have used, and I love this concealer so much that, I'm not surprised that it's the most highly rated at the drugstore. It is a very good concealer. It wears really well, It blends out really well and the coverage is really good. Okay, right now, just looking in the monitor, and I know it's picking up on camera, I look really, really white because those foundations were not my color and I tried to mix them to try and make it my color, but it didn't really work. It just ended up looking really light on my skin. And the concealer that I have is a very light shade. I'm hoping we can fix that with like bronzer. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this before it starts creasing up pretty bad. For the powder, I wasn't able to find the LA Girl powder, so I just picked out something. I got the Maybelline Fit Me powder. I've never tried this, but again, I have heard good things about it. So I'm gonna go ahead and set with this and see how I like it. Okay, the powder is nice. The only thing I will say is it isn't laying well on top of the foundation, but it's not, I don't think it's the powder's fault, it's the foundation's fault. That foundation is just so greasy and the powder looks very, very cakey on top of it. So the combination is not working well and my skin looks absolutely terrible. But other than that, I like that powder. It does seem to work really well under the eyes. I don't see any like crepiness or any weirdness. So it looks pretty good. I am going to just spritz my face because my face feels like really dry. I'm just going to be using the Wet n Wild Rose Primer Water. It's like their setting spray. That's like my favorite drugstore setting spray. It feels so good and it smells so good. This Beauty Blender, by the way, is working pretty well. It's so big, so it blends everything so fast. So I like it. By the way, if you guys are wondering what shades I got in the foundation, the yellowish shade was beige and then the like really white one was nude. And then for the powder, the shade that I got in that was 10 Fair Light. So now I'm going to go ahead and put some brows on. So for brows, we got the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. Okay, I'm just gonna fill these in kind of lightly. So far I really like the way that this applies. It's thin, so you can get like those real hair-like strokes. So I think it'll work out really well. I'm gonna go ahead and finish filling in my brows off camera and I'll be right back. Works really well. It did have, I feel like, a little bit of like a reddish undertone in it, in the color. The color's espresso, so I didn't think it would have that, but other than that, it works really well. I also just put a brow gel, also from NYX, over it that I picked up just to try. So now let's jump into some bronzer. So for this one, we had the lower rated item, which was the Wet n Wild bronzer. It's the Color Icon bronzer. So I'm going to go ahead and try that out. I'm going to take that on an Alamar brush. I'm just going to dip into it and tap off the excess. I don't really know how pigmented this is going to be. I've never used it, so... Oh. It doesn't seem like it's really pigmented, so I'm going to kind of dig the brush in there, like swirl it around. Okay, so that bronzer is interesting. It has a lot of shimmer in it, like a ton. Look at how hard I had to dig in to the pan just to get like product out. Like it just wasn't going on. Like it's just super light coverage, so I'm like digging my brush in there trying to get some on there, and it took me forever just to get where I'm at now, which I would still go a little bit heavier, just like right here on the inside of my contour. But I mean, I got it to like a good enough spot, but it was very hard to use. The shimmer in it is insane. Like my forehead especially, I don't know if it picks up on camera, but it looks so shiny. And like the side of my face, like where I like tried to contour like heavier, it looks so shiny, and it just looks so bad. My pores are emphasized. Everything looks weird on my skin. I just don't like it. So I can definitely tell why that was rated so low. Wet n Wild has some really good products though, so that really surprises me. But like, I think you guys can see how it like picks up on camera, like the shimmer on the side of my face. It just looks, I just don't like how it looks. It looks so bad. But we're gonna move on. I'm going to go ahead and put on some blush. So for the blush, we got the Milani Blush Box blush, which I already have, and I basically use this kind of like every day. I usually shift between this one and my Hourglass one, but most of the time I use this one just because it's a little bit more full coverage and it lasts on the skin longer. But this one is really, really good. It's one of my favorites, and I can definitely see why it is rated so highly. It lasts pretty much all day when I wear it, so I really like it. The coverage is there. You don't have to use a lot of it. It blends out so pretty on the skin. Like, look at that. I think it looks so, so pretty on the skin. Now this bronzer is looking rough, but the blush is helping save this look a little bit. So now that that is done, we're going to move on to eyeshadow. For eyeshadow, we got the e.l.f. Everyday Smoky Palette, which was the lower rated one. So I'm going to go ahead and just jump into this. I did prime my eyes with concealer and then I set with powder. So I'm just going to use one of these new brushes that I picked up. I'm going to go ahead and just start with this color right here in the palette. I don't know if they have names. Yeah, it doesn't look like they have like names, but it's just like a regular gray, neutral gray. I haven't done like a smoky eye, like a legit just like black smoky eyes since like high school. I think like my sophomore year of high school when I was in color guard. So this could turn out very interesting because I'm out of practice. I don't usually pull towards like cool tones. Okay, I've built that color up into the crease. It is kind of patchy already, I'm seeing, especially on this eye. There's like, I don't know if you guys can see if it's picking up on camera. I think you can, but it's like super patchy right around here. And I like can't get the pigment to stick to that. So I don't really know. I'm going to go ahead and deepen it up. I'm just using the same brush, and I'm going to go in with this darker gray that's down here. One thing I will say while I'm doing this is I'm being very careful to make sure I tap off all of the excess because I don't want fallout. Because the fallout from like grays and blacks is the worst. It's so hard to fix once you've got it like all over your face. So I probably should have done my eyes first, but so far I don't see a ton of fallout. I see like a tiny, tiny bit right here, but I should be able to kind of sweep that away. But I'll do that at the end when I'm done. This is a little patchy, so I'm just trying to make do of what I have. I'm going to use another one of those new brushes I picked up. I don't know what kind of brush it is, but it's like this. It's like just like a tapered kind of crease fluffy brush. I'm going in with the darkest shade in it to deepen it up some more all the way at the end. And then we'll pop on one of those shimmers on the lid. Alright, so I think this is the best it's gonna get. I don't think there is anything else I can do to try and save this eyeshadow. It is absolutely terrible. I would never ever use this again. It looks so bad. It will not blend out like at all. I am actually really, really surprised at how bad this is because I thought that I maybe could at least make it work, but I just can't. I don't know if maybe it's my blending or what, but it's terrible. I just can't get it to blend. So I'm just going to pop on one of the shades on the lid and try and kind of somewhat save this look. I'm going to use, I guess I'm going to use this one right here, and then I'll highlight with this one. So I'm just going to take it on my finger. So the true gag of this palette is that the shimmers are actually really nice. Like they're a little bit powdery, but other than that, they're really nice. So I don't understand why the mattes are so bad. But anyways, that is besides the point. Let's go ahead and try and finish off this look. I'm going to go ahead and go in with eyeliner. So for eyeliner, we chose the we got the Wet n Wild Mega Liner, which this one was the lower rated one as well. So it comes like this. It's one of those ones. It's not like a pen. So I'm going to go ahead and just line with it. Okay, so that went on pretty good. I mean, I don't see what the problem is with it. It dries down really matte, which I like. I didn't do a wing with it just because I really did not want to mess up this look any more than it already is. So I didn't do a wing, but I think it looks, I mean, it went on really easy. It is a little bit hard to get like a really thin, precise line with things like this, where it's not like a pen. So for the mascara, we got the CoverGirl Lash Blast, which this was the low rated one. I already, just looking at it, don't like the wand. The way it looks, it's so thick. First of all, the wand is like so big, so it's probably gonna be really hard for like the lower lashes, and the like bristles on it are so small. So I'm wondering if this is gonna like it'll probably separate the lashes really well, but I don't think it's gonna make them look like long and voluminous. But we will see. It's not bad, it's just like not coating them like well. So I'm having to like do a few coats, which is not bad. Usually I do a few coats anyway, but like I usually can get more, like better result from 2 or 3 coats of mascara from the ones that I use on a daily basis than like this one. I think this applicator just does not work well, and the formula is like pretty wet too. I like a more dry mascara formula just because I feel like it stays on the lashes better. Alright, so this mascara is not bad. It's not the best, but it's not bad. For the lower lashes, I honestly didn't mind it that much. It didn't, like I said, it wasn't coating my lashes very well, but it's not like super, super bad. I wouldn't say it's like the worst. Oh, it had 1 star. I probably wouldn't give it 1 star. I'd probably give it at least 3. I think it was okay. There's obviously better out there, but it's not like super, super bad. So now let's go ahead and do highlight, and then I'm going to pop on some lashes off camera. So for highlight, we got the ColourPop one, which I already have. So I'm using the Super Shock highlight in the color Wisp. So I'm just going to grab a fan brush. It's from Luxie, 560. Now for this highlight, I know some people don't consider ColourPop like a drugstore brand. I do. Like, yeah, you can't find it in the drugstore, but you do find it in the drugstore section at Ulta, which that's the site that I was looking at for like reviews to find out what was the lowest rated and what was the highest rated, just because I thought that would be easier going on there. So I do consider ColourPop like a drugstore brand just because they are so low priced. And their price points are, you know, that of a drugstore brand. So, alright, so I popped on a lash off camera. I just use lashes. They're 3D Volume Lash by Kiss, and they are in the style Teddy. I just figured I'd keep with the drugstore brand and use a drugstore lash. So for the lip, we got the Milani Color Statement, which was the highest rated. So I got 2 colors here, Matte Beauty 69 and then Dolce Caramello 27. So this one's a little bit more pinky, so I think I'm going to go with this one because it's a little more nude. I should have gotten like a red lip, but I didn't think about it at the time. So let me go ahead and line real quick. I'm just going to go in with my Morphe Sweet Tea liner like I always do. Okay, I didn't put gloss as one of the categories in this, but because I kind of forgot, and I don't really wear gloss a lot. Okay, so overall, I really liked everything. I really liked most things. The only 2 things that really threw me off were the foundation and the bronzer. Everything else worked really well. Again, with the eyeshadow, it was a little hard to blend and it was a little patchy, but you have to kind of take that stuff with a grain of salt because it is drugstore and you can't go in with expectations of, you know, like a luxury product or a high-end product. You can't be comparing that because obviously there is better on the market, but it's a higher price point. So you have to think of it in a drugstore state of mind and at the price point that it is. I don't remember how much the palette was. I think it was only a few dollars, but like for that, it performed like it should have. So I wasn't super disappointed in that, especially because the shimmers kind of shocked me. They were worked really well. So other than that, it was just the foundation for me and the bronzer. The foundation mostly because it was almost $12 and you aren't getting a lot of product in it, so I just thought it would be a little bit better. It doesn't look super bad on my skin, but again, it's not something that I will probably use again. And the bronzer was just way too shimmery for me, so I don't know if I would use that again either. But other than that, everything else worked really well. Okay, that is it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed watching. If you guys decide to recreate something like this of your own, please tag me in it. I would love to see what you come up with this whole makeup scratch off card idea. If you guys enjoyed this video, please click the like button and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are not already. And click the little bell next to the subscribe button so that you get notified every time I upload a brand new video. And follow me on my socials. My Instagram and Twitter are just @HannahB_beauty with 2 Y's. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye, beauties.